Right, so let's say that you have two arrays, and we'll call those two arrays data, and another one that I'm just going to call index, which is going to be just in a list of integers. And the idea we have is that we want to basically sort data based on the order of stuff that's in the second array, which is index. So if I were to have, I don't need to do that. Let's just say we're going to run debug here, just what the source data would look like. So if data is an array, and that array contains, say 3 objects, and each object contains a key, or we'll call it ID because this actually is, well, we'll call it key, of 1, comma, and I'll put something else in just so it's easy to keep track of which is which, a value of X, and we'll just copy that for a second. Copy, paste, and we'll say it's a key of 2 and a value of Y, and then I have a key of 17, right? Remember, these things don't need to be in order or be sequence or anything, and a value of W. So I have, 1, X, 2, Y, 17, W. And now let's say I further have an index of, let's say, 17, 5, 1, 4, 2, right? So and of course I only have 3 of those are actually sitting inside my array of data, but the index is telling me what order things should be appearing in. That could be kind of, messy in terms of its relationship. My objective is I would like to have data be sorted by their positions in index. How do you do that? Well, of course, right now it doesn't do anything. I was just doing that to save the input data. But what we really want to do is we're going to use the index to create the order in which we're going to do things, and then we're going to iterate over those in the data, and then we're going to build out the newly sorted data. So I'm going to create a new variable. I'm going to call it sorted data. And it's just going to be a blank array. It doesn't have anything in it. This is a very common, what we call reducer pattern. And then after that, I'm going to say, let's also have we're going to make a loop, right? We're going to say we're going to loop over, and we're going to say, not database requests, data manipulation, great. And we're going to do loops, and we're going to loop over our index as item. Okay, so the idea now is we're just going to be looping over each item in the index. Now, the reason why we're looping over the index and not the data is because the sequence of the index, right, that 17 comes before 5, comes before 1, is what matters for the purpose of the sort that we're creating here. And then we're going to do a for each loop. Well, inside the for each loop, we're going to we're going to do data manipulation. We're going to we want to get the variable from data that matches this key. And the way that we are going to do that is going to be through searching through data to go find the element that matches that key. And we do that through an array function called find first element. And we're going to be searching through data for the element that basically has a key that matches the current index value. And so I'm looking for where this, which is the iterator variable .key, is equal to my current item, which is the current item I am in the index. So the first one's going to be 17, then 5, then 1, and etc. And I'm going to say OK to that. And I'm going to say found item. Now, we now need to ask, was the thing from the index, did we find anything, right? And so we're going to say data manipulation, we're going to use conditional. We're going to say if found item is not equal to null, right? I.e. found an object, didn't just find nothing. Okay, so if it found something, then we go back to data manipulation, we go to arrays, and we say add to the end of the array. We want to add to the end of sorted data whatever it was that we just found. And really that's it. And then we'll just return the sorted data at the end. Okay, so what have we done here? We have said that we have these, we've got our main data and we have this index that we're going to iterate over. And what our expectation is that we should, first we'll look at 17 and we'll say, is there anything in data that has a key of 17? And in fact, there will be, and you'll see that will match with W, and then we'll add that to the end of sorted data, which is, of course, then blank, so that'll become the first item. And then we'll look at 5. And it will say, well, is there anything in there that matches 5? And the answer will be no. It will be null, and it will therefore not add it to the end. Is there anything that matches a 1? Yes, that will be the X. Anything that matches a 3? No. Anything that matches a 2? And the answer will be yes, will be a Y. So my expectation is this should generate a W, X, Y order based on this array of index and this array of data. Let's see if that works. W, X, Y, skipping over the things that aren't inside the index, it works perfectly. Now, the key ideas in here are that this is really this is a reducer function, really, because we're reducing the index, right, which is your list of numbers, into a filtered version of the data array. And this idea of sort of combining these two different arrays is a little bit complicated conceptually, but super powerful. And the tooling in Xano allows it to be something you don't have to do with a whole lot of work. You see, we just did it with a few lines here. Key ideas here are going to be this find first element, which is one of the superpowers in Xano, being able to extract things from your arrays. I think the new expression builder might also give some alternative ways of doing that. We can cover that in a future video. But the idea of we're going to take take one array and we're going to sort it by another array, which is really data and index, is actually also paralleling the way that database tables work under the covers, where they're kept separately this idea of the original data that you had in your, all those fields that are sitting inside your table, and an index, which is going to be the way it can be sorted for different use cases. And so basically you've now re-implemented some of how a relational database works just by adding these, 4 lines into your Xano. Hopefully that helps. If you've got questions, please put it in the comments, and we'll see you next time.